What is Tinder like here at the Olympic Village? Believe it or not, that is one of the most popular questions that we athletes are asked. Forget the medal count, forget who's winning and losing. It's all about who's hooking up with who. We're a gossipy species, and this is one of the prime places for that gossip. And now, after my underwhelming 11-second performance, that's what she said, my Olympic competition is done, and I can research this ever so pressing question for you. And for science. And because I'm curious as well too. Let's find out. Let's start big picture. What is Tinder? For the 3 people who don't know, it's an app on your phone that connects 2 people and allows them to chat. And if they're attracted to each other, then they can get together, play Dungeons and Dragons, or do whatever it is that they feel like doing. Now, combine the genius of Tinder with the Olympic Village. The Olympic Village has at least 10,000 athletes staying here for the Summer Olympic Games. And I can testify that I have never seen a higher concentration of more beautiful and athletic people in my entire life. It is stunning, and it's hard to overstate that fact. And I'm still coming to terms with it. So naturally, the thought would be, combine the two. You've got Tinder, you've got the Olympic Village. Perfect situation. First thing first, I had to update my Tinder profile photo because it had been a while since I'd been on the app. And it's incredibly important to have a strong profile because unfortunately, on online dating apps, over 80% of guys are rated as below average. It's one of those really funny quirks. I actually had that discussion with my former skeleton teammate, Matt Antoine. And we were talking about how discouraging it could be as a guy going on online dating. So anyway, it's really important to have a strong profile. I had to update some pics, keeping the same profile pic for the main one. This is a nice Getty Images shot from skeleton racing. Then I updated to one of my Olympic running photos. This is from my race where I was getting beaten by a bunch of black guys. This is just an old modeling photo, and it's funny, it looks like an ad a little bit. Another modeling shot. If you get professional photos, may as well use them. That's my thought. Here's a running shot, just because that's kind of what I've been doing here at the Olympics. And one more skeleton shot, pushing the skeleton sled. That's from World Championships. And then finally I added a shot of my upcoming book, Alpha Status. I figure if women are selling their Snapchat premiums and their OnlyFans sites, well, I can drum up some early sales for my upcoming book. Because if you want something really racy, this has more raunch in it than you're ever going to get in a YouTube video. But it has a ton of really nerdy stuff too that I like, such as philosophy and socioeconomic theory and finance. It's a really interesting blend of stuff. So keep an eye out for this in the future. All right, I've spent the last couple days now swiping on Tinder, seeing what all the big fuss is about, and I'm shocked. And not in the good way either. It's actually been a gigantic disappointment, and that mainly has to do with some of the changes that Tinder has made in this period that I've been away. First things first, so before I go into some of these matches and into some of these profiles, I'll say that I am hiding the identities of the other people, even though there's no expectation of privacy because these are considered public profiles and people do publish them to media companies and whatnot. I'm going to be a gentleman and I'm not going to reveal the names, ages, or the faces of the different women on this platform. So, what did I find out? Well, it started off probably as I expected. There were some Japanese women on there. I initially had the radius set to 5 miles. I realized I needed to tighten that down, but before I did, I had a lot of Japanese women on there, and a lot of them were actually afraid to show their identities as it was. They would hide their faces with obscured filters. A few of them, interestingly, they showed some of the kinks that they were into. Some of them showed handcuffs or they showed some bondage gear, but they would never show their faces if that were the case. I guess it's still a little bit taboo. But I realized, okay, I need to actually filter down, change it from 5 miles into 1 mile, and really only cover the Olympic Village because that's what the purpose is to do. I can't actually get out into the public in Japan anyway. I'm confined only to the Olympic bubble here in Japan. Even when I did that, still had plenty of Japanese women matching. Makes sense, they're within a 1 mile radius. But the part that really shocked me was that there were so many women that were nowhere near Tokyo. They weren't anywhere close to me. And apparently this is a new feature in Tinder where there's something called Tinder Passport, or you have Tinder Plus, and you can change your location deliberately so that it shows that you're in some other location, apparently. So I was scrolling through, and I find a woman who's 5,774 miles away. Another one in Portland, 5,100 miles away. San Diego, 6,700 miles away. Bangkok, Sydney, Bogota, Colombia, nearly 9,000 miles away. And then some in Brazil at over 11,000 miles away. So what is going on here? The whole point was that I put the radius of the search to 1 mile to cover the Olympic Village, and I'm not getting that at all. It's all filled with women who are thousands and thousands of miles away. And then I started getting a clue. Then I started seeing that, oh, there's this thing called Tinder Passport, and people are deliberately changing their location just to try and see Olympians. And one woman actually put it in her profile, quote, "All these people are trying to match with Olympians, right? Lol, same." And then the happy laughing face. Needless to say, this was a big disappointment, so I actually started logging how many people were in the Olympic Village and how many swipes it took to actually find someone who was located here in the Olympic community. In total, I had 424 swipes on Tinder, and of those, only 14 were clearly people related to the Olympic Village. And that's not necessarily athletes, that could be physios, that could be administrator staffs, that could be judges. I actually saw a judge for the gymnastics program on there. And that nets out to 3.3% of the people that I saw on Tinder were actually connected to the Olympic Village in a clear way. And that doesn't even mean that they're still actually here, because they could have already gone back to their country because of COVID. So I'm calling that a huge bust. Then I decided to switch over to Hinge and see if this situation was any better over there. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. So on Hinge, I'm seeing the exact same thing. Women who are in Newport Beach, California, from Arizona State University, from Las Vegas, from San Antonio, Texas. And it's like, what is going on? Why is this so busted? And it's the same thing. People change their location on Hinge to the Olympic Village, to Harumi here in Tokyo, just so that they can peruse the dating pool at the Olympic Village. And I get that, I understand that. It's a way for these companies to make a little bit of extra money, to get some more intrigue, because that's really what this is all about. There's so much intrigue about the Olympians at this point in time for these 2 weeks out of a 4-year cycle that people want to be a part of it. And I can't blame the companies necessarily for doing that, but gosh, it makes it such a hassle where I can go down the elevator and see 9 Olympians hanging out in the lobby. So this is actually where things get interesting. I saw a woman that I had matched with all the way back in the United States, and she had subsequently unmatched me later, but I had remembered her photo. As a straight guy and as a photographer, that's a pretty hard photo to forget. So I matched with her again, and I had to ask her what was going on. And she actually had a really pretty good answer. She said, "I was looking for my ex to congratulate him on not meddling." That's a pretty cold clapback, and I'm actually kind of sorry for her ex. But I think it does speak to the larger fact that a lot of people are on Tinder and on Hinge just to be a part of the Olympic experience and to browse the Olympic dating pool. Can't blame anyone for that, but from my perspective, it certainly makes things a lot less convenient and a lot less worth it. It's not worth my time scrolling through these scores of people when I can go outside and just see any number of Olympians. The downside to that, though, is that I actually have to talk to people in person that way. And I don't know if I remember how to do that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We're going to be doing some more cool Olympic stuff while I'm here in Tokyo, including going over the Olympic condoms, and I'll probably be giving a bunch of these away to some subscribers. So please stay tuned for some more action. Thank you again to the Patreon subscribers, and we will see you next time.